We have a system that has been operational for 40 some odd years, and has been derogatory toward a certain group of people. On the other end, we have people who say, well, the current system may be, well, they don't even. There's so many still try to uphold the Rockefeller type laws, where the more cruel and more unusual our punishments can be, the less people will want to be in jail. What the problem is that we end up creating criminals in a lot of ways through our laws. But when you start looking at acts and the issue of jail and how we should minister to people in jail, it would seem like that we in the church especially should be concerned about people in jail, because our history is just full of people who have been mistreated, are sentenced. Our sentencing has been cruel, and other kinds of things. So it would seem like we should be more active in understanding how that works.
We should be. I think, and thank you for sharing and bringing that up about Paul and Silas in jail. The Christian church has been, the history of the Christian church, especially throughout the first 3 centuries, Christians were, in prison, tortured, beheaded. So the history of the Christian church is one of discrimination, one of cruel and unusual punishment. And then when you look at, if you allow me to, if you look at the prison system, it doesn't necessarily work to the advantage of reforming persons. It punishes them,
Exactly.
But when we look at punishment, as you said, it only makes criminals. We're not doing a whole lot to reform them. And so when people come out, they may have gained a skill set in prison, but now they come out to society and they continue to be judged and condemned even after they serve their time. When you look at persons who come out of prison serving 3, 4, 5, 10 years, they can't be employed because
Exactly.
When they go to fill out a job in certain states now, including New York, they have this box, and as soon as the box is checked, it goes through a computer system and spits it out. Seriously, and so now they are still being punished for a crime that they've already paid for. And not only that, if they go to a local mom and pop, there's a stigma of being in prison now. And so they still ask, well, have you ever been in jail, or you have been in prison? And then again, they're saddled with that stigmatism that keeps them from being employed. And that's one of the initiatives of the Cornerstone Group, to work with persons to help them become gainfully employed. And what we're doing now is September 19th, the Cornerstone Group is putting on a conference for employers to look at employing people with all of the advantages that are given for tax incentives, the laws. So there are a lot of things that go to employers that can help them employ people who have been incarcerated. And so what we want to do is bring that exposure that there is advantages to employing people who are incarcerated. They are no longer persons who without jobs. They become tax-paying citizens, because you get a person that's employed, they get a paycheck, taxes are coming out of the paycheck.
Right, exactly.
We're not paying for them. Our taxes are no longer paying for them to be in prison. They're paying taxes into the community and into our country. So it benefits us. If we want to look at it from that perspective of self-preservation, it benefits us to help reform people who have been incarcerated.
And it seemed when you were talking about the issue of people re-entering, again, I think race and class and economics plays a huge role in that too. So you end up with a person who, like you had said, 1 gram of crack cocaine gets a 10-year sentence. On the other hand, you have a person who has violated trust, so a white-collar crime. So let's go to something like, embezzlement. Embezzlement, depending on the amount and the rest of it, majority of them get sentenced to a federal penitentiary.
Minimum security.
Minimum security for 1 to 2, 3 years, something like that. And then they emerge from that still capable of finding work, whereas the person who is arrested on that 1 gram of crack can't. So it seems to me as if, again, race plays a huge role within
It does.
within how we treat people as they re-enter.
It does. It plays a huge role in how people are convicted. It plays a huge role in the general economics in general. You look at employment and how the workforce is divvied up. The salaries for people of color, if you look at the statistics, are lower than salaries for white American. You look at the statistics, a white man can make more than a black man,
Right.
or a white woman more than a black woman. So you look at the economic variance of our country, it's still discriminatory. There's very little equality or justice. Yes, there are people who have made great strides. There are people who are very well off, but those are the minority, Joe. Those are the minority. And so when you look at public assistance, you look at people on public assistance, and that's a whole historical issue in and of itself.
Right.
When you're on public assistance, that's challenging when you have to decide, okay, I need groceries, I need medicine. How do I juggle the two? And then how do I make ends meet that are impossible to meet?
So if we have a viewer that's really interested in getting involved in this situation or this issue, how can they get in touch with the Cornerstone Group?
They can call the church 607-239-4127 or email us cscommunitychurch@gmail.com. And we are very affiliated with various organizations like the Broome County Council of Churches in the county. One of the actively engaged organizations right now dealing with bail reform is Citizen Action. They're very active in working on bail reform for New York State, and so we are engaged with them and involved. And if people want to work just with bail reform, or they want to work with reentry, they can still call us.
And if we can get through, it's interesting to me. There's lots of 50th anniversaries that have come up this year.
Oh wow! Yes.
around the issue of race and reconciliation and justice and other kinds of things like that. And the way that the way that people can get involved, and we really do, we can't look at it as having been completed and finished.
No.
That there is so much work that is left to do for all of us. I mean, there's enough work to go around to end discrimination, to promote a more healthy environment for people who are in jail that allows for transformation instead of just penalization. And then also allowing for us to be a more equitable way of dealing with issues of poverty and bail. If we can get through those things in the next 50 years, then I think we can maybe say that Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream that he was looking for could be a reality, but we still aren't anywhere near that.
No. We have a ways to go. But the good thing is that there are people who are actively engaged in the fight and who are actively engaged in wanting to make a change and a difference in our country and in our world.
Well, Greg, it's been great to have you on Encounter today. I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Joe.
And all of you, I hope that you have a blessed day too. It's a great day to celebrate Pentecost.